Good morning. Welcome to another Saturday workshop at the Anti-Fragility Health Clinic. My name is Charles Sina, CEO of Anti-Fragility Health. Our topic today, as we continue the series, is on gastrointestinal imbalances, GI imbalances. I have a guest here today, so we're looking forward to a very exciting conversation around this very interesting, challenging, and deep topic. So let's just refocus on where our workshop is and the objectives of this workshop. We're focused on longevity. There's actually very interesting and new research arriving with deep investments. You know, there are companies now called Altos that are looking at some deep issues at what we call cellular reprogramming, which is really at the heart of reversing aging. So there's a lot of interesting work that's coming up that promises that in the next 20 to 30 years we could extend lifespan to about 150 to 200 years. So longevity is a very interesting topic, very topical right now as we make the investments in lifespan and health span. But you know, lifespan is almost programmed into our cells. So there's a lot of work now that we've looked at that already the lifespan of a cell or our architecture is already deeply programmed. And therefore all the work we can do is really slow down the clock or stop or reverse the clock. So there's a lot of research emerging around that area. But the bigger issue is that you have to be healthy to be alive. And so health span, the length of time we can stay healthy without the impending chronic illnesses, is of critical importance. So you can't just focus on wanting to live long, you also need to focus on being healthy. And we've discussed this before, the three drivers that I call it: lifestyle. We spent a lot of workshop time talking about lifestyle and the different attributes around, 4 or 5 of them: sleep, exercise, right, stress, diet, the things that really drive lifestyle, and our choices around that are really critical. We look at our past workshops on that. One of my favorite things is around mindset. You know, there are people who believe in this journey and follow the journey, and there are people who don't. And so mindset is responsible and required for driving you every day through the mundane, sometimes bullshit, of taking 20, 30 supplements every morning. It's not an easy journey. And so you have to refocus and remind yourself why I am on this journey. In those boring days of looking at all the supplements I have to take every morning and take them. Mindset, it's critical for that. If not, a lot of people give up. Then signals. When God created this really complex architecture, He gave us opportunity to get some signals of well-being or not well. And those signals are really the key things that we can use in redesigning, reshaping, and reconfiguring and tinkering with the choices that we make based on the outcomes that we want to achieve. And those signals are around really 10 areas we've identified, and we've talked a lot about this over the last couple of workshops. The one we are focused on today is gastrointestinal imbalances, or signals, and therefore what those signals mean, and therefore what are the interventions we can take around it. So I'm going to introduce our guest today, Mindy Kessler. Mindy, welcome.
Welcome.
How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Mindy and I have partnered around Anti-Fragility Health, I would say even before the beginning.
Before you really had a
Baby.
great following.
About the baby, yes.
Yeah.
So Mindy Kessler is a functional medicine consultant. She works for Design for Health. You will see that we have a lot of Design for Health products today. Design for Health is one of our top vendors that we partner with. We leverage a lot of intellectual knowledge from Mindy and her company. and they are very, very amazing, interesting partners with just the most, just wonderful products. Welcome, Mindy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Charles.
Yes. So, Mindy, we are in this subject, which is also one of your favorite, GI imbalances. And we've broken it down into 5 areas so we can really have an interesting conversation. The first one is bacterial diversity. Talk to us about this. You've been practicing this as a lifestyle even before I met you. You are healthier than me, Mindy, I could say.
I try. You know, the microbiome, as it is termed, has over 1 trillion cells. Inside the body, it comprises 15 pounds of you, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. It's not an organ necessarily, but it functions in a lot of ways similar to an organ in that it, that a lot of responses from the body are switched or, manually adjusted by the microbiome. And having a diverse microbiome is really important. Researchers think that everybody's microbiome is almost as individual as their fingerprint.
Yes. Very, very interesting, right? A lot of the research that's coming out. And a lot of funding and new research is around this issue of bacterial diversity.
Because
and you say 15 pounds of it. Sometimes I wonder whether I am the bacteria.
Or if the bacteria is you.
Yeah, or the bacteria is me, right? Who's in charge here? Is it the bacteria, right? It's very interesting.
Because there's a connection between the brain and the gut too. So neurotransmitters are produced in that microbiome. And so, a lot of times if you feel anxiety, it could be caused from your microbiome. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about.
So we could use bacteria to control people, right? Give them
some... a little bit. We don't want that, though.
Even diet, isn't it? Right? If you're stressed, or you were talking about neurotoxins and neurotransmitters, we're influenced by the signals that the bacteria may be sending with regard to the kind of food they want to eat, right?
Right.
Or the kind of things they're interested in.
In the last 50 years, American diets have just been reduced dramatically. There's no diversity. We're not eating the fresh fruits and vegetables. We're not eating the colors of the color wheel. We're eating bland brown foods. We're eating processed foods. When you process something,
with trans fats and all that nonsense.
And most of the diversity in the microbiome that was being produced by that is really depleted.
Yes. Because that direct from farm. That soil-based spores and microbes that were necessary have been cleaned in some kind of hygienic process of industrialization.
Homogenizing, hydrolyzing, lots of different ways because we wanted to produce food for the entire world. We don't want hunger. And so it stems from a good thing.
Place, yes.
But it's been bastardized.
Correct. So bacterial diversity, big issue. And she introduced a word that I didn't introduce, the microbiome. I was scared you would be shivering from that big word, but that's it. Bacterial diversity, microbiome. Then there's the issue of the barrier function. Tell us.
The barrier function, or the endothelial lining of the gastrointestinal tract.
Very technical, endothelial lining.
But it's only 1 living cell thick. So as exciting or difficult as it sounds, it's a very fragile fabric of our body.
Correct.
But it holds in and it determines what gets into the bloodstream and what is excreted through our functions instead of getting into the bloodstream. We don't want things in the bloodstream that shouldn't be there, and that single-celled microorganism allows for that.
And it's our job to keep it safe.
Right. And
that's where whenever it's punctured, we have some serious, crazy things.
It's permeable. Yes. So things come and go through it.
Yes. Things that are allowed to come and go.
Right.
But when it's punctured.
Or compromised.
Wow, okay, that's a better word. When it's compromised.
Then we are unfortunately allowing the incorrect size or incorrect nutrients or whatever they are to get into the bloodstream.
Pathogens and toxins to get across.
And those can cause food sensitivities that maybe you didn't have when you were younger.
Correct.
These food sensitivities come from that gut lining becoming permeable.
So is that why I lack any kind of sensitivity? They always ask me, do you have any allergies? I'm like, none, 0. I can eat anything. I must have good tight junctions and good barrier function. And then there's the big issue of digestion and absorption. You know, Dr. Johnson says, you could be what you eat, but it's actually what you absorb.
Right.
Why is that a real issue? Why don't people get that?
Well, digestion starts in the mouth. It actually starts with a thought. When you think about eating something, you salivate.
Like right now, I've not had a breakfast, so I'm imagining what I'm going to have for lunch, right? And so I'm thinking I might have some pho, right? So I'm salivating, right, around that.
Right.
Did you have breakfast?
Of course. Breakfast is a very important meal.
Oh,
you should not skip it.
Are you fully absorbed from your breakfast?
I hope
I'm
so.
looking at your shape. I didn't think there was any food in you.
All right, all right.
All right.
So with digestion starting in the mouth, and then we're producing a lot of digestive enzymes.
Yeah.
The pancreas is producing insulin. The bile ducts are producing more bile and producing hydrochloric acid, which breaks down our food. But again, ties back to barrier function, ties back to what we talked about even with neurotransmitters and stress.
Yes.
And aging slows down the digestive juice process. So that
the enzymes, in terms of the bile, the proteases, the lipases for breaking down the complex macronutrients.
Right, those macronutrients can't be broken down as well if you don't have the digestive juices, and it is either slowed by your aging process, maybe your health in general if you take a lot of naproxen, or NSAIDs, or different PPIs, proton pump inhibitors. It reduces your natural ability to produce these things.
Yes.
And then you can't absorb. So you're not digesting your foods, and then you're not able to absorb the nutrients. So digestion and your enzyme function is very, very important.
Yeah, if the food is not broken down, we can absorb it, because
Right.
that one cell lining
Right.
is really critical for that absorption
And
process.
think about what's happening to it. You're storing it.
Exactly.
It's not digested food, so you're storing it. So what are you gaining? You're gaining weight, typically
Yes.
in these areas, right? Where we
Exactly.
don't want it or need it.
Exactly. Next one is my favorite,
Oh, boy.
elimination and detox. You know how I love to talk about poo, right? Right.
We're gonna slow that down today. Yeah.
Exactly.
Although we do talk about that.
Elimination and detox, you know. Even in my bathrooms downstairs, I have a sign, the Bristol stool chart, showing you how good your stool should look at number 4 and number 3, right? I know people say, what is that? You should look at your stool every time, right? You do it, because it's an indicator, it's a signal.
Right. It's a health signal,
Of
right?
gut
Going back
health.
to
Yes.
one of your signals and measurements.
Yes. So even your urine, the color of your urine. So these things, elimination detox, and we know how huge the liver and the kidney are around this function. So they're really critical in supporting a very important microbiome, right?
Absolutely.
Next, the gut-brain homeostasis. As you were already talking about neurotransmitters, most of our gut drive, driven by that special nerve that really controls the gut, peristalsis and all of that, is a powerful manager of how food moves down all the way until exit. Something manages that, because we are deliberately not, except when we're constipated, you have to push. Because normally, you just get the signal, I gotta poo. Something just says in your brain, I gotta
Excuse
poo.
me, I'll be back.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I gotta pee, right? It's not like I'm thinking of peeing. No, the thought just comes, I gotta pee. Very, very important indicators for us to really understand. So now, Mindy, we're going to move into the third conversation area, which is really your focus now, to educate us on our prevention reversal. How do we intervene to get back to a prevention place? Or if there are issues, how do we do some of that repair work? So over to you, Mindy.
Well, prevention is, everybody's going to come at this from a different angle, but we really need healing to the gut. Most people have what we refer to as leaky gut syndrome. I talked about it being permeable. An example of this is, let's say you have a hose in your backyard or whatever.
Yes.
You can turn the hose on and you can use it. And
Yes.
maybe you shut the water line off and it leaks a little bit.
Yes.
It still functions, but you've got leaking.
Yes.
So kind of look at it like there's pinholes in that hose along the way, and when you turn it on,
you're
all those
losing
pinholes
water.
are losing. So that's kind of a small example. It still works, but it's not working as effectively.
Yes. But again, when you said leaking, the issue is not just about the leaking, but where is it leaking into?
Right.
And the damage
Into the
that
bloodstream.
the leak is causing.
Right. And so we have to heal that.
Yes.
And there are certain nutrients that are very useful in that healing process.
Yes.
So before we even start with that, you mentioned with elimination. So some of the symptoms of leaky gut are chronic diarrhea or constipation, gas or bloating, nutritional deficiencies. Are you not absorbing and you're not able to take those in? Poor immune health.
Yes.
Immunity is very important, and 70% of your immune system is in your gut.
Correct.
So we can really focus on that for a lot of reasons right now. We're in a crisis right now in this country.
With our immune system and COVID,
we're getting
and the response to that.
And a better immune system starts with the gut.
Correct.
So really your health begins in the gut. And so working on that healing, you have to take in a high level of certain nutrients, some conditionally essential amino acids like glutamine.
Yes. You want to show us those products? So let's start with glutamine.
Okay.
As a very powerful free form amino acid that repairs. Go ahead.
It repairs that endothelial lining, that single-celled wall, and it's not it's a nutrient, or excuse me, an amino acid that we do make in the body.
Yes.
But there are certain things that again bring the ability to make it down.
Or the amount that is available and that's required for when the body needs to do the reconstruction work.
Right, and so if you have a lot of stress, which most Americans have, if you take a lot of different drugs, or if you exercise excessively,
with a lot of tissue breakdown,
then you're not going to have enough glutamine naturally. So you're going to try to get it from foods. It comes, different amino acid proteins.
Yeah.
But supplementing with it is so easy. And it's
just a scoop, 3/4 teaspoon of that is a serving size, 3 grams.
And it's
tasteless, nourishing.
It's nourishing. It's a tasteless powder, so you can put it in anything.
And so amino acids are the protein building blocks, and it's like the little components that form complicated chains for proteins. And so amino acids are really, really critical. Which one were you going to show us next?
Well, I was going to tell you that you can not only supplement with L-glutamine by itself, because it is nice to get 10 to 20 grams of additional glutamine from a supplemental source every day.
Yeah.
And another formula that has 1.5 grams in it is the GI Revive.
Yes,
now,
and GI Revive is the GI permeability support.
Yeah.
It's also working to help with address this permeability issue of leaky gut.
Correct.
Almost everybody has leaky gut. So in terms of prevention,
it's necessary.
It's necessary for you to take glutamine or a substitute GI Revive on a daily basis so that the basic building blocks are available for the repair and the construction men who are like, we just got the machine running, right?
And GI Revive also has very protective ingredients like zinc carnosine, which MSM and quercetin, glucosamine and acetylglucosamine. It also has an herbal blend, and that herbal blend calms things down. It has chamomile, slippery elm, and marshmallow.
Yes.
These nutrients, or these botanicals, actually produce a calming effect or a soothing, and they make more mucus.
Yes.
And that protects the esophagus and everything as it goes down if you drink it. So there's a powdered form available, and there's also a capsule. I don't know that you've tried it before, so I brought it so you can taste it.
Yeah, wow, okay. Is that how the powdered thing looks?
Yes.
Like that brown liquid? It looks like broth.
It has, like I said, it has those herbs in it, so it doesn't become clear.
And it's going to be calming in my stomach, right? Because again, those herbs, they actually break down the biofilm, right? Which is really destructive sometimes. Cheers.
Cheers.
It has some taste.
It's supposed to be a peach flavor. I
mean,
herbs have some flavor anyway.
I mean, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
And the good thing about your products is that there is no sweetness.
No,
It's
no artificial
like,
sweeteners.
It's like you guys hate sugar. Is that it?
Yes, we do. 100%.
They hate sugar. I love this.
Sugar causes chronic inflammation, which is another topic for another day.
Exactly, which is part of the GI.
Which is part of the GI. Yes, because
exactly.
inflammation is definitely going to be there.
All
so
right.
the synergistic ingredients in GI Revive, when taken daily, will begin to restore and repair that epithelial lining,
Yes.
and help produce, even soothe and comfort stomach aches. It's great if you can take it on an empty stomach. If you don't prefer the powder, you can easily take the capsules. This could be a long-term healing process. So
like daily, right? Just 3/4 of a tablespoon or 1 tablespoon of that in the liquid. Really, it's very. I mean, I'm just looking here at some of the adaptogens and all this citrus pectin, aloe vera, mucin, marshmallow, cat's claw.
very healing.
Yes, okra extract. My mother loved okra. Oh, this is a new way of me getting okra. Chamomile, quercetin, my God, for inflammation. So very, very important phytonutrients here
And
to
that's-
support the healing of that gut.
That's going to be the primary support for the healing phase.
Yes, okay.
And a lot of times in the intervention strategies, we actually start with removal.
Yes.
We slipped up to the healing first, but
I know.
you want to
But-
remove some of the pathogens that are
While you're healing also, right?
Sure.
Because it's not like you're going to do one and
Without
not do
the
the
other.
other.
Right,
Yes.
yeah, you
So
can do
while
them.
you're removing, and talk to us removing, you also could be repairing and healing.
correct.
Go ahead.
Now, that's going to come from, the removal is going to come, you're wanting to remove any parasites, any bacteria that are pathogenic, or
their numbers have increased, and that would be indicative when you have things like diarrhea, right, or bloating or gas. It means that there is some kind of
imbalance.
And first of all, we are getting that naturally from our water and food, because those things come in
Right.
naturally
Yeah.
from that.
E.
And there's a
coli
lot
overgrowth.
of exactly. So you want to make sure that, and then from the medications and things we're taking, we want to make sure that we have something that's helping us remove naturally and create the right balance
Right.
in the gut, right?
Right. And so once you've removed some of these pathogens with some different supports for that,
Yeah.
which again are herbal supports a lot of times, berberine is really important, and there's also sweet wormwood and things like
Yes.
that you can get in formulas. Then you want to create the repair, and at the same time you want to repopulate or reestablish
Yeah, let's
the
just
healthy
slow you down there.
microbiome.
So the repair, we spoke about the glutamine for the repair, but now she's moving into a bigger word, repopulate. Sounds like we want to recreate Africa with lots of kids.
Well, remember the microbiome is 1 trillion different organisms.
With that bacterial diversity.
Right.
Yes.
When it's out of balance and you have those conditions, or like if you have small bacterial overgrowth,
Yes.
you have recurrent yeast infections or urinary tract infections.
Yeah, UTI, all
Something
of
is
that.
growing over the
limit.
healthy bacteria.
Yes.
So something else is taking over.
Yes.
So as you start to remove or pull back or reduce the pathogens, you need to flourish or cultivate the healthy microbiome that's going to take place.
Show us some examples of that. Am I going to be tasting also now?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Hold these.
All
for me.
right, okay.
So
this is the ProBioMed 100.
ProBioMed 100 is a very, very impactful. It has 11 different strains of
And
microorganisms.
it has 100 billion.
CFUs are colony-forming units in each capsule.
It's going to challenge, it's going to be like when it gets in your stomach, it's like, the boys have arrived, the special forces have arrived, we
Right,
need to
because-
give them some space.
Right, because you've taken the GI, you've reduced some of the pathogenic things, and so
Correct.
you've got to help cultivate or feed the healthy microbiome so that it can grow in place of those pathogens. and
11
restore-
different strains here.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they're
wonderful.
They're all in there for a specific reason. They're going to help with, different aspects of the microbiome diversity.
Yes, and the health of that.
And then we're always looking at health for kids as well. The microbiome is being created as an infant. And so let's say mom had a chronically stressed pregnancy, or she had some sort of traumas or something. That affects the child's microbiome.
Or a C-section.
Or a C-section, maybe.
Yes.
That, absolutely.
Yes.
You can give a child a healthy probiotic, such as the ProBioMed Infant, to really help restore
the bacterial diversity
at a very, very young age.
Yes.
To produce their health early on.
Exactly. So that was repopulating with bacteria.
And one more. So I mentioned small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. A lot of people have that. They have too many bacterial overgrowths in the small intestine.
Yes.
So that's known by gas and bloating and a lot of other symptoms of dysregularity.
Yes.
You don't want to feed the microbiome in that case.
Correct.
So you need to give them short chain fatty acids that get into the colon, that produce these things without adding any fibers or any cellulose or any probiotics, because you don't want to overfeed.
Correct.
And that's going to be with the tributyrin supreme.
Yes, because the butyrate issue is a challenging issue in terms of its production, the short chain fatty acids. It's as we age, our production of that is suppressed.
Right.
And so the tributyrate is a very, very important supplementation to support that process, right?
Yes.
To achieve, go ahead, please.
Very healing for the colon.
Yes.
So anybody with IBS, IBD, Crohn's, they're really going to want to look at the tributyrin to produce those short chain fatty acids
that are required for calming and feeding and creating a robust new environment in the colon.
And we talked about elimination, right? This
Yes.
really helps to eliminate completely.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't feel like we've completely had an elimination, and this will aid in that as well.
Like the poo is still hanging inside of you, and you're like,
I hated to bring it back up, but
I know that as Americans, we're all embarrassed to talk about poo, but it's a very satisfying thing to happen, right, Mike? When you have a good poo session, you come out feeling like, all right, let's take over the world.
Let's tackle the day.
Yes, right? Yes, go tackle the world.
So.
What next are we addressing? So you were going to talk about, we spoke about repair, repopulation. You didn't talk about, did we talk about the digestive enzymes?
No.
Yes, can we talk about the digestive enzymes?
And
because those are, go ahead, please.
That's a step that you can do these steps concurrently, but I really feel like it's a step that can't be overlooked. We talked a little bit about digestion. It begins in the mouth. It's going into stomach where all of the bile acids are forming. The digestive juices are starting.
Yes.
But when you have an imbalance, your body, you need to kickstart your body's natural ability to produce its own digestive enzymes.
Yes.
But you can't do that when you're in between all these phases. So you want to put the digestive enzymes in place anytime you eat.
Correct. As I do. Every time I eat, I take my digestive enzymes before I'm about to eat. So they go down and they're getting ready, and then the food arrives, and then the body says, oh, now I know why you took those.
Right. And over time, your body will start to produce these again on its own.
Yes.
But with that imbalance, it's just not able to.
Yeah, they're just a trigger. We're just pushing the body, supporting and enabling the body to have the right enzymes so that the value is really around the issue of digestion and absorption. We want to make sure the micronutrients are broken down so they are properly absorbed.
And that's with...
Did we have some enzymes here?
I don't think so.
I don't think we brought any of the enzymes. Okay.
Designs for Health's primary support formula, and it's in our top 5. We have over 400 products. DigestZyme is in our top 5.
Wow.
So that means it's really
Very
effective.
Important product. Yes.
And it's a combination of all of your digestive enzymes as well as some of your pancreatic enzymes. And it also has the betaine and the hydrochloric acid. Those need to be in place. So there's a couple 100 milligrams of that in the DigestZyme.
Okay.
Now, additionally, some people want to take the betaine hydrochloride individually or add extra to that, especially during the 5R replacement, because you really want to make sure that there's enough hydrochloric acid to break down those foods so that you're not storing those toxins, and that you're helping with your elimination and the proper nutrient absorption.
Did we have, I know we have some paleo greens there.
Sure.
Yes. You want to talk about why that is like a very good addition to, I mean, I cannot have 5 vegetables every day because I don't own a farm.
Okay, so this is a farm in a bottle.
Exactly. Right.
They are flash dried and frozen just after cutting.
Yes.
And they're about 75% organic. These proprietary greens mixed with some inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber, they're going to provide you the antioxidant support that you need.
I was just going to quickly just read some of this stuff.
Sure.
It has organic spinach, carrot, beet, kale, tomato, parsley, broccoli, cauliflower, kale sprout, organic apple, organic blueberry, cranberry, raspberry.
It is a farm in a bottle,
nettle,
like I said.
beetroot, sorry.
It's a wealth of health in a bottle.
You could just travel with this bottle.
I love salad, but I don't love it so much that I eat it only.
Exactly, because it wouldn't give you all these things, right?
Right.
And so a lot of people say they eat healthy. You could not eat healthy if you're not having this at every meal. Well, is this once a day, or how often is this?
Once a day is enough.
Yeah, but if you take extra, the body is not going to complain.
That's okay too. No,
right.
It's going to help with elimination, detoxification, and your absorption.
Absorption,
Yeah.
wonderful.
And it's great for kids as well. It is a very small powder, and it has a lemon lime flavor.
Yeah.
You can mix it in with a juice, like a small juice, and it's going to make it green. But it's still
The color,
a child can enjoy the paleo
I take
greens
those.
as well.
I take that every evening before I go to bed.
Yeah, and it will help with elimination too.
Correct.
So
Yes.
if you're looking at just improving your bowel regularity.
Okay, we're coming to the end, Mindy. Was there any other products you wanted to talk about, or did you want us to close and just give us a sense overview?
I do want to say one thing. Your health is very important, and when you're looking at the overwhelming amount of things we have to do, be gentle on yourself. Give yourself an opportunity to heal, replenish, repair your gastrointestinal health slowly over time. Be sensitive to your body's ability to do these things, and also your mind's ability to take it all in.
Correct.
Pill fatigue is a real issue that people
Yes.
suffer with.
And that's why I brought up that issue.
Sure, yeah.
That every morning I also have to be re-energized around my purpose.
Yeah.
To start taking 10, 20 pills.
Right.
Especially the fish oils, right? 6 or 10 of them, because I need it, right? And she was talking about butyrate, right? Tributyrate. All these things as I'm growing older, I actually have a better sense. You know that feeling when you get up in the morning and you feel your body? I feel good.
Yeah.
I have vitality.
You feel like you're turning the clock back.
Correct.
Yeah. And we
it's
can
like
do
I
that.
have more energy than I had 10 years ago. It's like, why is that? I have vitality. And thank you, Mindy, for bringing vitality to this session.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
guys for watching. Love
Thank
us,
you.
like us, especially Mindy, our guest. And thank you for watching, and send your comments and any improvements that you'd like us to make. Please share with your friends, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Enjoying your glutamine and your paleo greens. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mindy.
Thank you, Charles.